the result is definite. If one does not follow, not getting the result is also definite. Positively, negatively, both ways it works. So that is the meaning of science. So just like in colleges, in science, we all have gone through it, right? Done experiments. Then you have to follow all those parameters, pressure, temperature, everything has to be precise, correct? Otherwise you don't get the result. And then you have to manipulate to get the result. Correct? I'm sure all of us have done some manipulation, right? Titration. So there you can do manipulation and get marks. But here what you'll do? Here you can manipulate and get Bhakti Shastri certificate. That much you can do. But what about the ultimate certificate? That no manipulation.
Today, appearance,
in no parallel processing. Okay. So this is complete science of Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so we'll start with some introductory words. आगे जाओ. आगे. Go ahead. Okay. So Rupa Goswami has written the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. He completed in 1541 and said to have 2,129 verses. So quite big. So therefore Srila Prabhupada only gave summary study. So in one lecture Srila Prabhupada says that if this also he would have translated verse by verse, then it would have become very big. So therefore he gave only summary study. And so the two main commentaries on the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu are that by Jiva Goswami, Durgama Sangamani Tika, resolving the difficult, to expand upon the difficult sections of the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Bhakti Sar Pradarshini. So these are the two main commentaries. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written Jaiva Dharma. Of course, it's not a direct commentary, but contains many of the concepts. Okay, let's begin with recitation of this part of the Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Today is also, of course, the disappearance day of Raghunath Das Goswami and disappearance of Vishwanath Chakravarti, appearance of Raghunath Das Goswami. Right, so auspicious day to begin. So let's recite this. Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipunau Sadharma Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanya Karo Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattaliko Bande Rupa Sanatana Yugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. अरे आपका आगे नहीं जा रहा है. नहीं तो पीपीटी के लिए यहाँ कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं. No, but अच्छा, so anyways both have to do it simultaneously. Okay, read.
Sri Shad Goswami Ashtaka, second verse. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mode of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Sri Radha and Krishna.
Yes, Nana Shastra Vicharaneka Nipunau. So they're very expert in scrutinizingly studied all the revealed scriptures. So as we can see, Srila Rupa Goswami has taken references from so many scriptures to establish the authenticity of various principles which is presenting here. So they have studied so many scriptures. For what? Sadharma Samsthapakau, aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Okay. So just to establish what is real religion, Sadharma Samsthapakau. For what? Lokanam Hitakarino. They were simply doing welfare activities for the people in general. Okay, read this. Hey, there should be no confusion. Huh? Just read in line. Arey, bhai, aage. Oh, there's some discoordination between this and that. Next.
Formerly, the society was not so much degraded. As soon as you give evidence from the Vedic literature, they would accept. So these Goswamis were making research from the Vedic literature, Samaved, Rigved, and Upanishads, Vedanta Sutras, Puranas, Mahabharat, Srimad Bhagavatam. You will find in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu evidences Nana Shastra.
Okay, so they were giving evidences from so many literatures. So Narottam Das Thakur in his Prarthana, he says, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bujabo Se Yugala Piriti. When I'm eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. So in order to understand Radha and Krishna, one has to follow the footsteps of the Goswamis. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Akuti. Okay, so just to understand the importance of the literature, it is also good to understand the importance of the author. And so therefore we presented something about Srila Rupa Goswami. So we know, of course, most of us know the history, which Srila Prabhupada also has presented in brief in the beginning of his preface. So we chant these prayers in the Mangalacharan. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established in this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya. Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. When will he give me shelter under his lotus feet? So this is the greatness of Rupa Goswami. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. That means he has understood the desires, the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is that well-known pastime of how when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the Rath Yatra was singing a verse which appeared to be like a mundane song, but then and devotees were wondering why Mahaprabhu is singing that. But then Srila Rupa Goswami, he wrote the meaning of that song on a leaf and put it in the roof of his thatched hut. And later on, Mahaprabhu saw that, and then Mahaprabhu was surprised. So he asked Swarup Damodar Goswami, how is it that Srila Rupa Goswami has understood the inner meaning of this verse? And Swarup Damodar Goswami says, it is not surprising because He has become a recipient of your mercy. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada has written in the Nectar of Instruction preface, the Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. So therefore we are known as Rupanugas. So Prabhupada in a lecture, he says, we are called Rupanuga. Anuga means following, following in the footsteps of Rupa Goswami. So as Rupa Goswami is following his predecessors, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so we have to follow our predecessor, then we will be successful. So we have to become Rupanugas. And Rupa Goswami is described to the gopi named Shri Rup Manjari. And in Golok Vrindavan, Srimati Radharan is lovingly served by 8 principal gopis, of whom Lalita Sakhi is the dearest friend. These intimate maidservants of Srimati Radhika are assisted by 8 main manjaris, with Shri Rupa Manjari being the leader. And they please the sweet divine couple by carrying messages, preparing tasty beverages, stringing fragrant flower garlands, etc. In their pure spiritual forms as maidservant manjaris, the 6 Goswamis plus Loknath and Krishna's Kaviraj Goswamis comprise the inner circle of manjaris. So, Mahanidhi Swami in his book gives a whole list. Go ahead. Gives a whole list of the original forms of all the Goswamis in Golok Vrindavan. So here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada writes, before creation of this cosmic manifestation, the Lord enlightened the heart of Lord Brahma with the details of the creation and manifested the Vedic knowledge. In exactly the same way, the Lord, being anxious to revive the Vrindavan pastimes of Lord Krishna, impregnated the heart of Rupa Goswami with spiritual potency. By this potency, Srila Rupa Goswami could revive the activities of Krishna in Vrindavan, activities almost lost to memory. In this way, he spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Okay, so that's how Srila Rupa Goswami has been empowered, just like Brahmaji has been given knowledge from within the heart. So similarly, Srila Rupa Goswami also was empowered with spiritual potency by which he could revive the lost holy places in Vrindavan, the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So all this Rupa Goswami could do because he was empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in 1933, at Srila Prabhupada's initiation, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati instructed him to study this book, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which he called as the law book on devotional service. And of course, Srila Prabhupada also has said that. So he said that the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu will be the law book for all the ISKCON devotees. So therefore, it's very important for us to properly understand. So Srila Prabhupada accepted sannyas on September 17, 1959. Moved to an upstairs room at the Radha Damodar temple and concentrated his energy on translating into English and purporting the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada himself says that this corner at the Radha Damodar temple is just like the hub of the wheel of the spiritual world. It is the center. And Srila Prabhupada said that I eternally reside in my rooms at the Radha Damodar temple. So Srila Prabhupada especially was residing over here and began his mission. He began his translating work at the Radha Damodar temple. And those of you who have read the book by Mula Prakriti Mataji, friend to all. Anybody has read? So there she writes this pastime of how when Srila Prabhupada was residing over there, so there was one Vrajvasi who was staying just beside Radha Damodar temple. And so from his terrace, he could see into the courtyard of Radha Damodar temple. So that time when he was young child, And so in the middle of the night, every night, he used to hear somebody crying. So his sleep used to get disturbed because of that. But he was wondering, who is this middle of the night crying? So after a few days, he was inquisitive to find out who is that. So he climbed on the terrace of his house, and from there he saw that in front of the samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami and the Vajan Kutir of Jiva Goswami, there was this elderly sannyasi who was sweeping and crying, begging for the mercy of Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami. So, of course, that time he didn't know who the sannyasi was, but later on, when this Mataji was interviewing those devotees, then he told this pastime. So that was how Srila Prabhupada, he was residing over there, specifically to attract or beg for the mercy of Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami in order to begin his mission, in order to get the spiritual potency to write all these books. So that was the reason why he was staying at the Radha Damodar temple. Okay, read.
Srila Prabhupada's decision to stay at Radha Damodar Mandir was an indication of his conscious and fervent desire to live, serve, and write under the shelter of the Srila Rupa Goswami, and to very practically seek his blessings for his life's mission of translating the Srimad Bhagavatam and preaching in the West.
Next.
So when you went to Vrindavan.
So this is from Harishori Prabhu's Transcendental Diary. So this is written by Harishori Prabhu.
So when you went to Vrindavan, you had given up the idea of coming to the West. No, coming to West, the idea was there. But I was planning how to go there, how to preach there, how to take some books, how to bring them everything alone. So as soon as you had some books, then you were, yes, then I decided everything was being dictated by superior. With Srila Prabhupada in such a congenial mood, I took the courage to broach something Harikesh once mentioned to me. I was told that one day you were told by Rupa Goswami that you must go. Prabhupada's mood changed slightly, but that was open secret. He said dismissively. Everyone knew. Then he changed the subject.
So, of course, we know Srila Prabhupada was instructed on the Jaladuta also. On the Jaladuta also, Srila Prabhupada had the whole vision of Krishna with all the acharyas. And so it appears that Srila Prabhupada also had a vision of Srila Rupa Goswami when he was staying at the Radha Damodar temple. And so based on this conversation, based on that conversation with Harishori Prabhu, then Mahanidhi Swami is sort of explaining what could have transpired between Srila Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami may have appeared like that to Srila Prabhupada and told them, Maharaj, don't worry about anything. Go ahead and travel to the West and preach. Just preach the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the chanting of Hare Krishna. You will be successful, I guarantee, because I will be right with you all the time. So Srila Prabhupada has been specially empowered with this mission, empowered by all the acharyas. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada's position in Gaudiya Vaishnavism is very, very unique and special. Okay, now coming to the preface of the Bhakti Rasa Amrit Sindhu as given by Srila Prabhupada. So please open. Preface. So initial part, Srila Prabhupada gives the history of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. Okay, so at the end of that second page of the preface, so the last line you can begin from there. Bhakti means devotional service.
Bhakti means devotional service. Every service has some attractive feature which drives the servitor progressively on and on. Every one of us within this world is perpetually engaged in some sort of service, and the impetus for such service is the pleasure we derive from it. Driven by affection for his wife and children, a family man works day and night. A philanthropist works in the same way for love of the greater family, and a nationalist for the cause of his country and countrymen. That force which drives the philanthropist, the householder, and the nationalist is called rasa, or a kind of mellow relationship, whose taste is very sweet. Bhakti rasa is a mellow different from the ordinary rasa enjoyed by the mundane workers. Mundane workers labor very hard day and night in order to relish a certain kind of rasa which is understood as sense gratification. The relish or taste of the mundane rasa does not long endure, and therefore mundane workers are always apt to change their position of enjoyment. A businessman is not satisfied by working the whole week. Therefore, wanting a change for the weekend, he goes to a place where he tries to forget his business activities. Then, after the weekend is spent in forgetfulness, he again changes his position and resumes his actual business activities. Material engagement means accepting a particular status for some time, then changing it. This position of changing back and forth is technically known as bhoga tyaga, which means a position of alternating sense enjoyment and renunciation. A living entity cannot steadily remain either in sense enjoyment or in renunciation. Change is going on perpetually, and we cannot be happy in either state because of our eternal constitutional position. Sense gratification does not endure for long, and it is therefore called chapala sukha, or flickering happiness. For example, an ordinary family man who works very hard day and night and is successful in giving comfort to the numbers of his family members of his family, thereby relishes a kind of mellow. But his whole advancement of material happiness immediately terminates along with his body as soon as his life is over. Death is therefore taken as the representative of God for the atheistic class of men. The devotee realizes the presence of God by devotional service, whereas the atheist realizes the presence of God in the shape of death. At death, everything is finished, and one has to begin a new chapter of life in a new situation, perhaps higher or lower than the last one. In any field of activity, political, social, national, or international, the result of our actions will be finished with the end of life. That is sure.
Okay. So here, Srila Prabhupada is defining rasa. So bhakti, devotion, rasa means mellow or relationship. Amrita means nectar, that's eternal, and Sindhu means ocean. So Prabhupada has translated this as nectar of devotion. So here, Srila Prabhupada is defining what is meant by rasa, and Srila Prabhupada is giving a very down-to-earth understanding of what is rasa. And so here he is saying basically it is an impetus or the force which drives a person to perform a certain activity that is called as rasa or a kind of mellow relationship. Because as Srila Prabhupada is giving the examples of the family man, the philanthropist, the nationalist. So ultimately, everyone performs the activity because there's a relationship, right? The family man, he's working very hard. Why? Because there is some affection for his family members. So because of that relationship with his family members, so the family man is ready to work so hard. Whether he gets affection in return, that's another thing. But at least he thinks he will get. And so because of that, he's working so hard, morning to nights. And he's earning the money which is stolen by his wife and children. So Srila Prabhupada explains, even though he cannot enjoy the money, but the money is stolen. So They are also like thieves only. So they are thieves within the family, the wife and children. Swajanaka dasyu. They are swajana, but they are thieves in the form of swajana. And in lecture, Srila Prabhupada says, but the man, he's so much in illusion, he does not understand. So if ordinary pickpocket comes and steals the money, he's very upset. But when the wife steals the money, he thinks, oh, she's so nice. She's nicely taking the money. So that is the illusion. But the point is that the man works so hard because of that relationship. That relationship becomes the impetus. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada, he praised Mahatma Gandhi in many lectures. That Mahatma Gandhi, he spent his whole life working for the nation. So he had that relationship with the nation, with the countrymen, and therefore to somehow try and satisfy them. So therefore he worked, gave up his whole life practically for the nation. So that relationship is what is the impetus. So similarly, we are also supposed to work hard, correct, as devotees. But what is our impetus to work hard? What? So it is the same principle. The principle is relationship. So because of we understand the sambandha gyan, the relationship with Krishna, and we want to re-establish that relationship, therefore we are also ready to work hard for pleasing Krishna. Because of that relationship, it is the concept of relationship and relishing the relationship. Relationships become relishable. And in order to taste that sweetness of the relationship, one is ready to maintain the relationship, work for the relationship, because as Srila Prabhupada explains both in lectures and purports, that man is also a social animal, and so therefore he cannot stay alone. No. One may be provided with all facilities, but still very difficult to stay alone. And maybe one will stay after getting a little, as they say, fried out from various services. Yeah. So then for a few days, maybe one would like to be in some seclusion, shanti. Maybe after the book marathon, those who got a little fried out. Of course, ideally it should not happen. But in any case, so if so for a few days, maybe it's possible to stay alone. But how long? How long? Not too long. Why? Because one wants relationships. One wants relationships. That is natural. So now, coming to spiritual relationships, Srila Prabhupada has said something about this. You can turn your books to page 151. Of course, we are getting into this is the southern section, but anyways, the part 2. But just for the definition of rasa, just for that, I thought of reading from here. Kya? Okay, your page numbers may be different editions of the book, but in any case, it is chapter 20. It's part 2. Okay, so somebody read the 3rd and 4th paragraphs there. The word rasa.
Which one? The word ras used in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is understood by different persons differently, because the exact English equivalent is very difficult to find. But as we have seen our spiritual master translate this word ras into mellow, we shall follow in his footsteps and also translate the word in that way. Okay, so the exact equivalent is not available, but Srila Prabhupada says that because spiritual master used the translation as mellow, so therefore we are also using the same word. Okay, continue. The particular loving mood. The particular loving mood or attitude relished in the exchange of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called ras or mellow. So here Srila Prabhupada is giving a nice precise definition of what is meant by spiritual rasa.
the spiritual rasa, the relationship with the Supreme Lord. So a very nice definition. The particular loving mood or attitude relished in the exchange of love with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called rasa or mellow. Go ahead.
The different types of rasa, when combined together, help one to taste the mellow of devotional service in the highest degree of transcendental ecstasy. Such a position, although entirely transcendental to our experience, will be explained in this section as far as possible, following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami.
Right. So, as he says, the different types of rasa, when combined together, help one to taste the mellow of devotional service in the highest degree of transcendental ecstasy. So, therefore, in the second paragraph, he talks about these different types of rasas. So basically the rasa is a combination of all this: vibhava, anubhava, sattvika bhava, vyabhichari bhava, and sthayi bhava. So actually it's a combination of all these together. These all are different emotions. These all are different emotions. And so a combination of all these is basically what is the spiritual rasa. So, and Srila Prabhupada explains in his lectures that material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So whatever is found in the spiritual world has to be found in the material world. So in the material world also all this is found. So like the primary rasas. So the primary rasas we know, what are they? Yeah, Shantadasya, Sakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. So these are all spiritual in the purest form. But we find the perverted form in the material world. So therefore here also we find somebody is, so Srila Prabhupada is, in his lectures on the nectar of devotion, Prabhupada is giving down to earth examples. He says, just like the seat I'm sitting on, this is giving service to me. This is, Shantaras. Prabhupada gives this example. So it is doing some service, but there is no active service in that sense. So this is Shantaras. So similarly, somebody is serving Dasyaras, and then Sakhyaras, so friendship. So here also we want friends, correct? So here also people make friends. So we find here also. And then people want the enjoyment or the relish of having children. So we want, and that's the reason person gets married, to relish having wife and children. There's a sort of enjoyment there. That's why they go through that trouble. If there's no enjoyment, why they'll go through that trouble? There is some enjoyment. As if you read Forest of Material Enjoyment, Prahlad Maharaj also says, they're very happy to hear the broken words of the children. You may have seen parents, how much they relish broken words of the children. And even though if for another person it makes no sense, but for the parents it is like nectar. And so similarly, wife, so that's a perverted reflection of Madhuri Ras. So all these rasas are there in the perverted form in the material world. But in the material world, all of them simply give rise to so much of misery. But in the purest form, they're there in the spiritual world. So therefore, all those, and within those relationships, then you find all of those. So there's a basic relationship. Then within that, sometimes there are fights. Those fights also give some special enjoyment, correct? So all that is there. Even on the spiritual platform, it is all there. So that combination of all those various types of emotions which he is describing is called as rasa. Rasa. It is basically that relationship which is called as rasa. But on the purest form, it is there in the spiritual. So two types of rasa Srila Prabhupada is describing over here. One is the spiritual rasa and the other is the material rasa. Okay, let us try to analyze a little more about what are the differences between this material rasa and spiritual rasa. Somebody would like to write? दो कॉलम बना Material, spiritual. That's good handwriting, huh? Oh, I see. Okay, let's hear a few points. What ends with the body? Okay. Can we say temporary? Okay, temporary. And this is eternal. Okay, this is ever increasing, and this is? Yeah, actually, this is decreasing. It is decreasing. Okay, that is another point. We'll take that point also. Okay, this is decreasing. Everything material has to decrease. It has to deteriorate. What is your point, Vittal Prabhu? Ah. Nectar in the beginning, poison at the end. And this one? क्या हो गया? डाउट है क्या कुछ? अच्छा, सही में? No. You have to repeat what is there in the Shastra. In Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says? Poison in the beginning, nectar at the end. तो आप चेंज क्यों कर रहे हो? Some other points? Okay, limited, and this is? Okay, ever increasing, unlimited, ठीक है? और कुछ? रुको, बाकी लोगों को बोलने दो.
Hare Krishna.
Online.
Material rasa creates bondage. Spiritual rasa liberates.
Okay, bondage, liberation. आगे. I think so. What you're trying to say is here there is always more hankering. There's no satisfaction. No satisfaction, but more hankering. But on the spiritual platform, there is satisfaction. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kangshati. और वो अलग बात है. So on the material platform, he is satisfied. There's no material hankering.
With material rasa, it has limitations in terms of one person, we can have only one type of rasa. But with Krishna, we can have all types of rasa.
Okay, good point. So, okay, limited. Okay, one rasa with one person. Okay, we can have only one type. Yeah, basically, yes. Basically, there's only one type of relationship, one type of rasa with one person. But yes, with Krishna, there can be simultaneously so many different rasas.
Material rasa is
bolo.
Material rasa is selfish, but spiritual rasa is selfless.
Okay, good point. Selfish, selfless. Huh.
the materials once looks into outside, means search outside. This spiritual rasa satisfies inside.
Okay. Okay. This is what is the word? Okay, you can say this is external. External. The spiritual rasa is more internal. What is the verse in the Bhagavad Gita? I was just thinking. Sukham. Atyantikam is, yes, it is spiritual. There is Antar Aramas. There is one verse in that same 5th chapter. Antar Sukha, Antar Aramas. So it's internal, yes. Okay. Depends on perception. And yes, okay. Pleasure to one's own senses, that okay, but any case, pleasure to one's own senses, pleasure to Krishna's senses. Duplicity. Acha, on the material platform there could be duplicity. Okay, fine. Duplicity, no duplicity. Okay. So here there is no purification. There is purification. Selfless. Yes, selfless. So one is not considering about one's passions. Okay, fine. I think so. That's enough points. Thank you, Pro. Huh? Kya? What does not exist? What? What does not exist? That is true. What you're saying is true. We had that whole discussion in one class, I think, no? There is no happiness in the material world. Yes. ठीक है. But that bindu is also illusory only. It is like bindu, but that bindu is also illusory. Yeah, glimpse. But still, that is also not on the platform of pure love. Okay, fine. So there's some differences. Now, an important concept which Srila Prabhupada is talking about here, as far as material rasa is concerned, is what? Bhoga tyag. Bhoga tyag. So Srila Prabhupada is saying the relish or taste of the mundane rasa does not long endure, and therefore mundane workers are always apt to change their position of enjoyment. And is given the example of this businessman. So the businessman or whoever, he does job throughout the week, and then as he's doing the job, he's waiting for what? Yes, he's waiting for the weekend. And during the week only, he's making plans for the weekend. Go here, go there, go to this restaurant, eat this, eat that. So maybe all of us have experience, right? So maybe you're remembering that. And we don't remember. So, but we know that's what people do. But then once the weekend is over, they cannot continue that also. Because they know if they don't work, then they can't enjoy on the weekend. So therefore, on Monday they have to come back to the work. So the important point is that this position of material engagement means, this is a very important statement. Material engagement means accepting a particular status for some time and then changing it. This position of changing back and forth is technically known as bhoga tyag, which means a position of alternating sense enjoyment and renunciation. Of course, it's not real renunciation, but in any case. But the important point is, on the material platform, one is never satisfied in one position. One always wants change. One is never satisfied. So therefore, we find that in the modern days, people take advantage of this mentality of people wanting change. So make some small changes in the laptops or mobiles or cars, whatever, and bring out new models. And as soon as new model comes, then what happens? Then everyone is hankering for the new model. And that Trivikram Maharaj was talking about the iPhone in the class. So as soon as there's new model, then person is hankering for the new model. So a person is not satisfied with something old. He always wants change. He always wants change. This is the nature of material consciousness. Because on the material platform, there is no satisfaction. Therefore, one thinks that a change will bring about pleasure. And therefore, people change so many things. People change jobs. People change workplaces. And these days, people even change their partners. So therefore, all this concepts of live-in relations and all this nonsense. Why? Because no satisfaction. The level of satisfaction has decreased so much that person is looking for some change to somehow get some satisfaction. So that's what Srila Prabhupada says, we all know that famous story of Lakshahira. So when that leper came to enjoy with her, so before that, she gave what? Yes. So she gave same preparations in iron plates and silver, gold plates. And the lesson she wanted to give was? Yes, food is the same. So just by changing the plates, you're not going to get some different taste. It's going to be the same. So if she wanted to make the point, you already have got a chaste wife, why you want to come and enjoy me? But then that's what a person thinks. Under illusion, he thinks if I change, there'll be some new rasa, there'll be some new taste. This is material consciousness. And so in our devotional lives also, the same principle applies. In our devotional practices also, if we are all the time looking for something new, Srila Prabhupada criticized this mentality. He said he was complaining about the Westerners, and he was saying, you Western people, you always want something new. And he quoted one Bengali song. What is that? So some song during those days. Something new, something new. Everyone wants something new. So even in our Krishna conscious lives, devotional lives, if we are in material consciousness, then there will not be satisfaction, but one will always look for something new. So whether it is the books, talking about books, so then one may read Prabhupada books, and after that one thinks, enough. Now I want something new. And then this becomes a big problem. This becomes a big problem. And so similarly, it can apply to prasadam. It can also apply to kirtans. It can apply to classes. It can apply to services. So the basic principle is a lack of satisfaction. Lack of satisfaction. Because on the material platform, there can never be satisfaction. I'll give you a nice reference for this. First canto, 4th chapter, text 27. So in the purport to that verse, Srila Prabhupada has written, perfection can never be attained when the heart is dissatisfied. And that perfection has to be searched out beyond matter. If somebody can open and read the exact lines, that will be good. Read the purport. So this is in connection to dissatisfaction of Vyasadeva.
The sage began to search out the cause of not being satisfied at heart. Perfection is never attained until one is satisfied at heart. This satisfaction of heart has to be searched out beyond matter.
So perfection can only be attained when there's satisfaction. But that satisfaction has to be searched out beyond matter. So on the material platform, there can never be satisfaction. So therefore, to the degree one is in material consciousness, then no satisfaction. Then one is trying to find satisfaction by something new. Something new. But the fact of the matter is, on the spiritual platform, there can be full satisfaction with the same old things. Why? Why on the spiritual platform, even though one may be reading the same purport, one may be hearing the same kirtan tune, Prabhupada's kirtan tune, same. Or one may be seeing the same deities every day. But still, they are not the same. Why?
Krishna is ever fresh.
Yes, Krishna is ever fresh. Yes. Ever fresh. Krishna is never old. So anything in connection to Krishna on the spiritual platform is ever fresh. So we may read the same purport. There is one purport where Srila Prabhupada writes, one can read the same Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam thousands and thousands of times. Not 5, 6. How much? Thousands and thousands of times. And still the subject matter will be ever fresh. So sometimes we may think, now Bhakti Shastri, we have studied Bhagavad Gita, right? So now if somebody says, okay, we'll discuss Bhagavad Gita, you may think, Arey, Bhagavad Gita ho gaya abhi. Now Bhagavad Gita has to be kept as it is. No. Srila Prabhupada, the writer of the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam, was reading his own books. Correct? Shuddhagiti Prabhu says, I have never seen this. An author reading his own books. He himself has written. तो उसमें नया क्या है फिर? He himself has written. That means he knows in and out of what he has written, correct? Then what is new in that for him to read? But still, Srila Prabhupada would relish reading his own books. And in fact, he says sometimes he would hear even his own lectures. Why? It is all spiritual. So it all depends on our consciousness. So, who makes the subject matter ever fresh? Presence, connection to Krishna. Yes, the Paramatma. The Paramatma makes the subject matter ever fresh. But when will he make the subject matter ever fresh? Yes, very good. So what should be the attitude? Okay, you can show one purport here. Okay, open 4th canto. Thirtieth chapter. Text 20. Okay, read this translation and purport. In line, who's next in line? Line. यहाँ हमारा line चल रहा है भाई. हमारा line चल रहा है यहाँ.
Always engaging in the activities of devotional service. Devotees feel ever increasing fresh and new in all their activities. The all-knower, the super soul within the heart of the devotees, makes everything increasingly fresh. This is known as the Brahman position by the advocate of the absolute truth. In such a liberated stage, Brahma Bhuta, one is never bewildered, nor does one lament or becomes unnecessarily jubilant. This is due to the Brahma Bhuta situation.
A devotee is inspired by the super soul within the heart to advance in devotional service in a variety of ways. The devotee does not feel hackneyed or stereotyped, nor does he feel that he is in a stagnant position. In the material world, if one engages in chanting a material name, he will feel tired after chanting a few times. However, one can chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra all day and night and never feel tired. As chanting is increased, it will come out new and fresh. Srila Rupa Goswami said that if he could somehow get millions of ears and tongues, then he could relish spiritual bliss by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is really nothing uninspiring for a highly advanced devotee. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that he is situated in everyone's heart and that he helps the living entity forget and remember. By the grace of the Lord, the devotee gets inspiration. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. As stated, kushala karmanam. Those engaged in auspicious activities in devotional service are guided by the super soul, described in this verse as Gya, one who knows everything, past, present, and future. The super soul gives instructions to the sincere, unallied devotee on how he can progress more and more in approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Jiva Goswami in this connection says that the super soul, the plenary expansion of the personality of Godhead, exists in everyone's heart, But in the heart of the devotee, he reveals himself as ever increasingly new. Being inspired by him, the devotee experiences increased transcendental bliss in the execution of his devotional service.
Hmm. So who gives that newness? Yes, but in the heart of the devotee reveals himself as ever increasingly new. Being inspired by him, the devotee experiences increased transcendental bliss in the execution of his devotional service. So, for whom does Paramatma give this revelation or this realization of ever freshness? Yes, sincere, unalloyed devotee. So, that is the quality of devotional service that we need to practice. Of course, that's the subject matter of our discussion. Of course, that's the main subject matter. How to practice the sincere, unalloyed devotional service is the subject matter of the Nectar of Devotion. But what is important is the quality of devotional service which is pleasing to the Lord. When the Lord is pleased by the quality of our devotional service, then he makes everything ever fresh. Otherwise, if the Lord is not pleased with our devotional service, then we remain in material consciousness, and on material consciousness, everything will be boring after some time. Then after some time, then devotees start feeling, same Mangalarti, what is new? We have already attended for 10-15 years. अभी थोड़ा आराम का समय है. वही तो है, क्या है उसमें? वही है मंगलारती. और चैंटिंग भी तो वही है, क्या है? So that is how then as years go by, what happens? Enthusiasm comes down. The reason for enthusiasm to come down is, yes, material outlook, material consciousness. But on the other hand, if one is in spiritual consciousness, the enthusiasm, the service attitude has to increase more and more. How much more? Yes, it's ever increasing. There can be no limits. That is what is supposed to happen. You want a reference for this? 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, text 3. Third canto, 2nd chapter, text 3. Prabhupada writes how the service attitude constantly increases. Good, go down, go down. Yes. The service attitude of the devotee gradually increases and never becomes slackened. Never becomes slackened. In old age, person is allowed retirement from mundane service. But in devotional service, please note this point. In transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all. No retirement. ऐसा नहीं कि अभी 50 साल हो गए, 60 साल हो गए, अभी बहुत हो गया, अभी थोड़ा आराम हराम है. So no aram. You saw any aram in Prabhupada's life? You saw? Till his last breath? No. That is the standard. In transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement. On the contrary, the service attitude increases more and more with the progress of age. And then Prabhupada says that in the transcendental service, there's no feeling of fatigue because it is spiritual service and is on the bodily plane. Service on the bodily plane dwindles as the body grows older, but the spirit is never old. And therefore, on the spiritual plane, the service is never tiresome. So now also you can see Srila Prabhupada disciples are also enthusiastic. In the last few days, we have been seeing Bhakti Raghav Maharaj and Trivikram Maharaj, and today this Prabhuji also, Shambhu Prabhu with his guitar. So you can see There is no retirement. The enthusiasm is not decreasing, it's increasing only. So that is the symptom of progress. That is the symptom of progress. So if somebody is, of course, on the bodily platform, some fatigue may be there because body grows old, but at least that enthusiasm should not decrease. Enthusiasm should not decrease. You can see all these proper disciples who have been coming here since the last few days. Most probably they were the most punctual and regular in all the morning program. All of them you can see, even today. Right from morning, they were there for Mangalarti, Darshanarti, Guru Puja, class, everything. You could see that. All of them you could see. Right in front of our eyes, we can see. We have to learn from them, in spite of the age. But that is what Srila Prabhupada is talking about here. No retirement. So if one is feeling boredom in Krishna consciousness, or one is feeling, okay, enough, bahut ho gaya. That means what? That means there is a disease. There is a disease. There's a problem. There's a problem. So if one is in the right spiritual consciousness, then one will always be enthusiastic. So this can be as a barometer to check oneself. We can check ourselves whether our enthusiasm is increasing or enthusiasm is decreasing. If our enthusiasm is decreasing, then it is a red signal. There is some problem. So, and that is what happens. And we have seen, unfortunately, we have seen in the lives of devotees that whenever we notice this red signal, enthusiasm going down, feeling of boredom, then it is definitely a red signal. And we see that such devotees find it difficult to continue. Because in Krishna consciousness, after some time, the activities are practically the same. From an external viewpoint, the activities don't change much, right? How many things can you change? You have to sing the same Mangalarti every day. You can't sing a new song. And even the tune has to be same. Sometimes some people invent some new tunes, they get bored. But actually, Jayadut Maharaj says, entire Mangalarti, there must be only one tune. Only one tune throughout the Mangalarti. Little bit variation is allowed, but essentially only one tune that Prabhupada has taught. Sometimes the desire to change is so much, after every Mahamantra there's a new tune. But you can see some of our veteran singers, they sing one tune for a long time. Half an hour, 1 hour. Of course, Prabhupada sang only one tune. For hours together, Prabhupada sang only one tune. But as so many of Srila Prabhupada disciples say, that even though it was only one tune, neither Srila Prabhupada nor the devotees would ever get bored of it. Because there was such spiritual potency in that sound vibration. You have seen how devotees would be dancing in kirtans. Nowadays, you don't get to see that. How those devotees were dancing. Because there was such spiritual potency in that. Even though it is same. So it all depends on one's own consciousness. So the more one is in that spiritual consciousness, as we read, the Paramatma makes everything ever fresh, new. Then one feels blissful, even though it is same kirtan, same tune, same speaker, same deity, same philosophy, everything is same, but still one will experience transcendental bliss, because that is what the Paramatma reveals. Paramatma reveals himself in that ever fresh. So this is an important difference. But on the other hand, material platform means what? Change, 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 change. Always wanting to change. So Srila Prabhupada didn't accept that change business. No, nothing changes. Everything is same. You wanted to ask something, Srila? माइक ले लो ऑनलाइन वालों को सुनाई दे देना था Of course, we cannot artificially do this. We may need some change, which is okay within certain limitations.
So, Prabhuji, at personal level, there are certain activities in spiritual activities which we prefer as liking or disliking. So that also is material outlook only. So how can we work on that? Because we have our tendencies, like for certain things we look enthusiastic, and for other things, like although we are doing, or at my stage we have to do those things, but we are not that much enthusiastic. So how to look inside and improve on that?
So, as we said, there's only one thing which needs to change. What is that? Yes, there's only one thing. That's the consciousness needs to change. That means it needs to get purified. So therefore, as long as, so we cannot expect purification to take overnight, right? It takes time. So as one makes more and more progress, then one is in spiritual consciousness, then one will not be so much affected by the sameness, but one will experience the newness. So, of course, as far as we are concerned, we have enough things which keep changing anyways. Correct? At least our singers keep changing every day. Our speakers also keep changing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had only one speaker. Who was that? Only one speaker and the same story. Think about it. Maybe Prasadam changes, of course, there. But for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was hearing the same story from the same speaker. At least if it is, okay, same story we're hearing, at least we get different speakers. Then they have some, at least little different outlook and perception. And so some changes there. But Mahaprabhu was hearing same story, same speaker, but still he was relishing. That is the highest platform. So, but we have enough variation. We have enough variation. Surely prasadam is not the same every day, correct? Of course, rice has to be the same. Chapati has to be same. And dal, some variety is there. At least sabjis there is variety. And then at least Wednesday there is variety. Thursday also variety is there. So there's a good amount of variety. At least in Pune there's more variety than in other places. Three kitchens he's saying. I know people have quite a good amount of choice here. Yes. So there is enough choice because of our conditioned state. Then acharyas have given all that. But definitely there are some things which are definitely going to be the same, and one has to find satisfaction. So initially it may be an austerity, but as a service one has to do it. We were giving example of Mangalarti. Or the chanting of the holy names, japa. So one may definitely, if one is not in good spiritual consciousness, after some time one will become bored. And one may not like to come. But then, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, for the pleasure of our spiritual masters, we have to come. And if we come, then we will get the taste. So in Madhur Kandamani, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that how on the higher stages of Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, on these higher stages, one is not even concerned about the meter of the singing. So somebody sings out of tune and one doesn't sing properly. One is not concerned about all that. So one is simply interested in holy name. That's a very high platform. That's very high platform. So just like there is this famous pastime of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur when he was leaving from this world. So he requested devotees to sing his favorite bhajan, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. And so the devotees there, they got one young brahmachari who was very good singer, very good singer. So they got this young brahmachari and he had his harmonium and everything. And he began singing so melodiously. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, stop him. And then he had His Holiness Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, who was known to be not at all good with singing. But he had him sing because of his devotion. So this is on the highest platform. We can't imitate. We can't imitate. So we definitely have to serve in the best possible way. But that is the point. The point is that as one progresses, then one is not so much concerned about the externals. The focus on the externals reduces. The externals in terms of, the decoration. But one is more concerned about the essence. The essence is about the devotion, the attitude, the consciousness. That is what matters more. Like even when we hear classes, then we find very new devotees where they get attracted to. They will get attracted to lectures where there's a lot of humor. If there are 5 jokes in 2 minutes, then that's very attractive, right? Or a lot of stories. So then such people become very popular because that's what most people look for. This is the externals. That's what most people are interested in, just the externals. As to what will titillate one's mind and intelligence. One finds satisfaction on the superficial level. And so, but then, as one progresses, then one has to rise above the superficial level and come to the real attraction. So one becomes attracted to the essence, which is the consciousness, the devotion. So wherever that quality is there, then a devotee should get attracted there. Because when one associates with a devotee in higher consciousness, what happens? Yes, the consciousness gets transferred. The consciousness gets transferred. And so therefore, then as one progresses, one must give up looking for superficial externals and be attracted to the essence. The essence is the surrender, the commitment, the devotion which a person has, which a devotee has, and one must be eager to associate with such devotees and not be simply attracted to external superficials. Does it help?
Prabhuji, as you mentioned about consciousness, just wanted to know the difference. Like perception means there is a reality and the way I look at it. And so what is the difference between the like material or spiritual consciousness and perception of reality?
Yes. So perception also is determined by one's consciousness. I have a particular perception based upon my consciousness.
But it may be on intellectual platform, for example.
So that's what I'm saying. So you talk about mental, you talk about sensual platform, mental platform, intellectual platform. What are all these 3 platforms? Yes, all 3 are material. So much is based upon the perception. So common example is given that there could be 500 rupee notes. So what is the perception of a donkey seeing the 500 rupee note? What is the perception of the businessman?
How much? Can you tell?
Yes. What is the perception of the devotee?
Engage in lots.
It is the same 500 rupee note. Why there's a difference in perception?
Depends upon consciousness.
That's the point. Perception is based on consciousness.
It
must begin with intelligence, because we read philosophy, we understand, and but it not realized.
Correct.
Then
Yes. So in the beginning, yes. So in the beginning, it is more of an intellectual conviction based upon philosophical understanding. And so when one is on that platform, then that platform may not be steady. But then gradually one has to, as one gets more and more purified, then one is able to remain on that steady consciousness as one makes progress. But at least initially one has to understand it intellectually and try to apply it. And the more one tries to apply it by steady performance, by steady practice, then one gets more and more taste, one makes more and more progress, and then one comes to more and more spiritual consciousness.
and how one should check whether my consciousness is material or spiritual? It is just based on experience, because then if I
No, everything is not based on experience. Everything is based on Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. My experience may be tinged by one's own consciousness. So therefore, my experience cannot be absolute. So therefore, that has to be verified by Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So just like anyway, I won't take names. So there was one particular devotee who was going to give class in one temple, and so the devotees were feeling, oh, he was a sannyasi. So the devotees were feeling, no, this sannyasi doesn't give good class. He won't be, a good speaker for, I think so it was a Sunday feast or whatever. So the devotees went and asked the leader of that community. They asked him, so what do you think? So then the leader immediately said, no, because of his surrender to Srila Prabhupada, therefore, hearing from him is, you'll make tremendous progress by his association, by hearing from him. So they confirmed it with the saintly person. So when they confirmed that, then their perception changed. Because they heard from a realized saintly person. So therefore, our perceptions, which are all tainted, now our perceptions are all tainted because of the influence of the modes. And so therefore, they may be faulty. Therefore, our perceptions need to be confirmed by Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Okay? All right? Okay, fine. So we got all these points, material and spiritual rasa. And that is what Srila Prabhupada explains in the further few lines. And there are a few more points which we can discuss. But I think so it's time for a break, right? Okay. So we'll take a break now. How much time break? Okay, 15 minutes. So see, according to that watch we're following, huh? So how much time? Okay, 12:28. Okay, please do be on time. 12:28. Hare Krishna. His control by the diffusion of his beauty. He accepts Shamala and Lalita as his equals and gives pleasure to Radha by his excellent qualities. Okay, so this is the first verse, which is describing the main objective of the book, who is the central figure of this entire book, and that is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Akhila Rasamrita Murti. So Akhila Rasamrita Murti means that Amrita Murti. Amrita. Amrita means nectar or bliss. So Murti means he is the personification. He is the personification of bliss. He is the personification of happiness. Why he is the personification of happiness? Because he is Akhila Rasa. Because he is the embodiment of all rasas. Because he is able to reciprocate with all the, in all the 12 rasas, with all the living entities, the Lord is able to reciprocate, and therefore he gives unlimited pleasure to all the living entities. Therefore he is called as Akhila Rasamrita Murti. And the highest perfection of that reciprocation or giving pleasure is seen in his relationship with the gopis. In his relationship with the gopis, we find the highest exhibition of, or the highest reciprocation of ananda, bliss. So therefore, he's talking about his reciprocation with the gopis. And so, Prasmara Ruchi Ruddha Taraka Pali. So it is described that Taraka and Pali, so they are, so there are different categories of gopis. We won't get into all those details. But then he says, of course, they are all on the highest platform of pure love, but still there are different categories. Okay. So, as he says over here, he brings Taraka and Palika, Palika, same, under his control by the diffusion of his beauty. By his beauty, he attracts these gopis, Taraka and Pali. So they are considered to be amongst the various classes of gopis, they are considered to be the lowest class. Okay. But of course, it's nothing material, even though we say lowest class. But anyways, so that is one level of gopis that he's talking about. Then the other gopis like Shamala and Lalita, they are said to be like the medium category. So they're on a higher platform. And so he's reciprocating with them also. So they are like prototypes of these different categories of devotees that Rupa Goswami is mentioning. But the highest pleasure he gives to Radha Priyan. But he gives to Radharani. He attracts Radharani by his excellent qualities. And so Vidur Jayati, Vidu. So here the word Vidu refers to two meanings are there. Just like we read about Vidunoti. Where you heard this word Vidunoti? Vidunoti means what? Yes, he cleanses or destroys. So the Supreme Lord destroys what? Yes, he destroys ignorance, he destroys distress. He destroys distress. And the word Vidu also refers to Vidadati. Vidadati means to bestow. Vidunoti means to remove. And Vidadati means to bestow. So he removes distress and he bestows happiness. Right? So this he does to the highest degree. He's able to do this. And so therefore, he's able to do this because he's Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Therefore, he's able to destroy all distress and is able to give all happiness to all the living entities, and especially in his relationship with the gopis. So this is the central figure. The central figure of the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is Akhila Rasamrita Murti. And who is that Akhila Rasamrita Murti? Here no name is given. Rupa Goswami is not giving any name. Who is Akhila Rasamrita Murti? But then that's understood. Only one personality. There's only one personality who's Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Who's that? Vrindavan Krishna. Only Vrindavan Krishna. Because we don't find all the rasas with the other forms of Krishna. Like with Vishnu, you won't find Vatsalya, Madhurya, well, with Lakshmi something. But you don't find all those, to the highest degree, you don't find all the other relationships. So mostly it is all Dasya. Mostly it's all Dasya, maybe a little bit Sakya. So the complete exhibition of all the rasas, 12 rasas, to the perfection, all the rasas, that is only found in Vrindavan Krishna. So it's only Vrindavan Krishna who is Akhila Rasamrita Murti, and so therefore he is the main subject matter of this book. And to establish this point that how he is Akhila Rasamrita Murti, there is this verse, next. So this is 10th canto, 43rd chapter, text 17. Is quite a famous verse. Okay, somebody can read this. So this is when Krishna enters the wrestling arena.
The various groups of people in the arena regarded Krishna in different ways when he entered it with his elder brother. The wrestlers saw Krishna as lightning bolt, Veeraras. The men of Mathura as the best of the males, Vismayaras. The woman as Cupid in person, Madhuryaras. The cowherd boys as their relative, Shakyaras, Hasyaras. The impious rulers as a chastiser, Raudraras. His parents as their child, Vatsalyaras, Karunaras. The king of the Bhojas as the death, Bhyanakaras. The unintelligent as the Supreme Lord's universal form, Vivatsaras. The yogis as the absolute truth, Santras. The Vrishnis as their supreme worshipable deity, Dasyaras.
So here in this wrestling arena, there's only one person, Krishna. But different people are seeing this one person differently. Or Krishna is reciprocating differently with all these different types of people simultaneously. So this is very unique feature. Only Krishna can do that. So therefore he is called as Akhila Rasamrita Murti. Okay, fine. So this is, so in the book, in the Nectar of Devotion book, you can find Srila Prabhupada uses one verse for one paragraph. One paragraph is one verse. Okay, so we'll read from Srila Prabhupada's book now, the first paragraph.
Invoking auspiciousness. Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the reservoir of all rasas or relationships, which are called neutrality, passive adoration, servitorship, friendship, parenthood, conjugal love, comedy, compassion, fear.
Okay, so you can see all the names are here. Comedy is Hasyaras. Compassion is Karunaras. Then fear. Fear is Bhayanakaras. Raudra. Okay, good. Okay, it's Bhayanakaras, right? Okay, then chivalry, Veeraras. Ghastliness, Bivatsa. Wonder, Adbhutaras. Of course, here there is no Adbhutaras. Okay, maybe Raudraras is considered to be Adbhutaras. And devastation. What is devastation? Devastation could be Bhayanakaras, no? Yes, devastation. Okay, fine, go ahead.
He is the supreme attractive form, and by his universal and transcendental attractive features, he has captivated all the gopis, headed by Tadaka, Palika, Shama, Lalita, and ultimately Srimati Radharani. Let his lordship's grace be on us, so that there may not be any hindrance in the execution of this duty of writing the nectar of devotion, impelled by his divine grace, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada.
Go ahead.
Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada and of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada, by whose inspiration I have been engaged in the matter of compiling this summary study of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is the sublime science of devotional service as propounded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared 500 years ago in West Bengal, India, to propagate the movement of Krishna consciousness.
Okay, so here, of course, Srila Prabhupada is offering his obeisances to Rupa Goswami and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Of course, the second verse is basically Hari Vandana. So in the main book, main Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, then Rupa Goswami is actually offering obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay, go ahead. The third paragraph.
Srila Rupa Goswami begins his great book by offering his respectful obeisances unto Srila Sanatan Goswami, who is his elder brother and spiritual master. And he prays that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu may be very pleasing to him. He further prays that by residing in that ocean of nectar, Sri Sanatan Goswami may always feel transcendental pleasure in the service of Radha and Krishna.
Yes, so this is the third verse where he is offering his respects to his spiritual master and his elder brother, that is Sanatan Goswami. So basically, he is praying that this work should give pleasure to the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as a spiritual master, Srila Sanatan Goswami. That is how Rupa Goswami is offering his obeisances and respects. Because ultimately, the purpose of any service that we do is to please the spiritual master, to please Krishna. And that is the reason why he's hoping that this... Okay, the exact verse which Rupa Goswami is saying is, may this work named the ocean of nectar composed of Bhakti Ras always serve as the recreation hall of my Lord, manifested in the form called Sanatan Goswami for his pleasure. Okay, read the next paragraph.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the great devotees and acharyas, holy teachers, who are compared to sharks in the great ocean of nectar and who do not care for the various rivers of liberation. Impersonalists are very fond of merging into the Supreme, like rivers that come down and merge into the ocean. The ocean can be compared to liberation, and the rivers to all the different paths of liberation. The impersonalists are dwelling in the river water, which eventually comes to mix with the ocean. They have no information, however, that within the ocean, as within the river, there are innumerable aquatic living entities. The sharks who dwell in the ocean do not care for the rivers which are gliding down into it. The devotees eternally live in the ocean of devotional service, and they do not care for the rivers. In other words, those who are pure devotees always remain in the ocean of transcendental loving service to the Lord and have no business with the other processes, which are compared to the rivers that only gradually come to the ocean.
So here, he is offering respects to the Vaishnavas. And he compares the Vaishnavas to Makaras, sharks. The Makara is called as the king of fish. And so therefore, why he uses the analogy of the sharks? For three reasons. The first one is, the sharks live only in the ocean. So similarly, the devotees only like to live in the ocean of Bhakti Ras. And the second reason is, the sharks reject the rivers. The rivers are compared to what? The rivers of liberation. The rivers of liberation. So just as the sharks, they don't like to live in the rivers, they only like to live in the ocean. So similarly, the devotees are not interested in liberation. They are only interested in bhakti. And the third reason he says is, the sharks are never caught in the fisherman's net. So the fisherman's net is compared to the cycle of birth and death. So the devotees, they don't get caught in this net of the cycle of birth and death. So when Srila Prabhupada gives lecture on the nectar of devotion, when Srila Prabhupada explains this analogy of this rivers and the ocean, so he extends this analogy and he explains it in a very interesting way. So Srila Prabhupada says that the devotees are like the sharks. And the sharks, they live in the deep parts of the ocean. But then as far as the superficial parts of the ocean are concerned, the water from the superficial parts, that gets evaporated. That gets evaporated and then forms clouds, and then the clouds, then again the water comes down. So this he compares to the impersonalists. So the impersonalists, they don't go in the deep parts of the ocean. They remain only in the superficial parts. Therefore, they go up and they merge in the impersonal Brahman, but then they again have to come down. But as far as the devotees are concerned, they are deep in the bhakti ocean. And so therefore they do not get evaporated, they do not go and merge, and they do not come down. They always remain in the ocean of bhakti ras. That's how Srila Prabhupada explains this analogy in his lecture. So that is how he's offering respects to the devotees. Okay, next paragraph.
Srila Rupa Goswami prays to his spiritual master, Srila Sanatan Goswami, for the protection of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, the ocean of the pure nectar of devotional service, from the argumentative logicians who unnecessarily meddle in the science of service to the Lord. He compares their arguments and logic to volcanic eruptions in the midst of the ocean. In the midst of the ocean, volcanic eruptions can do very little harm, and similarly, those who are against devotional service to the Lord and who put forward many philosophical theses about the ultimate transcendental realization cannot disturb the great ocean of devotional service.
Yes. So basically here Rupa Goswami he's praying, O Sanatan, may your ocean of bhakti ras remain for a long time, restricting the harsh arguments of the proponents of karma and gyan, just as the ocean restricts the flame of the Vadaba fire, which Prabhupada is translating as volcanic eruptions within the ocean. So this is the volcanic eruptions. So even though there may be volcanic eruptions in the middle of the ocean, because of the huge quantity of water, so this fire, volcanic eruption is like fire, but this fire does not have much effect. It does not have much effect because there is such a huge quantity of fire, I mean water. So similarly, he is talking about these proponents of karma and gyan, who are the mimamsakas, who may try to distort the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. He says, but they won't have much effect because of the quantity of rasa, the bhakti rasa. The bhakti rasa quantity is so huge that these proponents of karma and gyan will not have much effect. But in any case, he is praying that these mimamsakas should not try to interfere or meddle with this Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. And so therefore, this is his prayer which is offering. So his desire is not just restriction, but complete restriction, that is complete extinction of their criticisms. So he wants, so just like the fire within the ocean is extinguished by the huge quantity of water, so similarly he wants these criticisms of these mimamsakas to be totally extinguished by this bhakti ras, huge quantities of bhakti ras. Okay, sixth verse. Sixth paragraph here.
The author of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami, very humbly submits that he is just trying to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. Although he humbly thinks himself unfit for this work. That should be the attitude of all preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement. Following in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami, we should never think of ourselves as great preachers but should always consider that we are simply instrumental to the previous acharyas, and simply by following in their footsteps, we may be able to do something for the benefit of suffering humanity.
So here, Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari from the spiritual worlds, but yet he calls himself as Agnya, ignorant. He says, though I'm ignorant, I have undertaken this work concerning Bhakti Ras related to Krishna, who's auspicious for the whole world for the joy of my friends. So, even though such an exalted Acharya, but he's thinking himself to be ignorant. So, this is the exhibition of his humility. And so, Srila Prabhupada is, in one sense, giving all of us an instruction. What is that? That should be the attitude. Prabhupada is saying that should be the attitude of all the preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement. So here all preachers, correct? In ISKCON, everyone is preacher. And no one is an exception. So Prabhupada is giving instruction for everyone. That should be the attitude of all the preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement, following the footsteps of Sri Rupa Goswami. We should never think of ourselves as great preachers, but should always consider that we are simply instrumental to the previous acharyas. And you can see the same example. Here you can see Rupa Goswami. You can see Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. What is the humility of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? Yes. He's thinking himself lower than Jagai and Madhai, lower than even the worm in the stool. He's considering himself to be so insignificant, even though so exalted. Similarly, we find Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, as he's writing the Markandeya Bhagavad Dharma, what he's saying? He's saying, I have this title Bhakti Vedanta, but I don't have Bhakti, I have no knowledge of Vedanta. It is up to you now to make this title come true. You give me the words by which these people's hearts will be transformed. Prabhupada never thought, I will go and preach, I will go and speak. You find Shukadeva Goswami, he's liberated right from his birth. But as Shukadeva Goswami is beginning to answer the questions of Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadeva Goswami is thinking himself so incapable, and therefore he is offering series of prayers, which you can read in the 2nd canto, 4th chapter, before he begins to answer the questions. And there also, Shukadeva Goswami is praying to the Lord, my dear Lord, just as you have entered into all the elements of the universe, kindly enter into my words and decorate my words. So that's how you find the great acharyas. They think themselves to be so humble, totally incapable. And because they have such a mood, they attract the grace. If somebody thinks, I already know, I can do everything myself, then what Krishna will say? Okay, do. So therefore, the pride does not attract mercy. If one wants to get something, if one wants money from a rich man, how he should approach? He should actually approach like a beggar, correct? If he goes to the rich man's house with big suit and tie, then rich man will say, you came to beg? So he really has to be in the mood of the beggar. Then he will get. So similarly, if we want to preach, then preaching is only possible by Krishna's grace. What ability do I have to transform somebody else's heart? Do I have? I have no ability. I am struggling to transform my own heart. What to speak about other people's hearts? But who can do that? Only Krishna can do that. I can simply become instrument. But in order to become that proper instrument, one has to attract the grace. And to attract grace, the proper attitude is very important. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is teaching. That is what Srila Rupa Goswami is teaching. So in this way, these are the first 6 verses of Mangalacharan. Okay, please read Prabhupada's lecture.
Akhil Rasamrit Murti. So we can enjoy Krishna's loving service in so many ways, not only by the embrace of the gopis, but in the fight of Bhishma with Krishna and piercing his body with arrows. Therefore, Krishna is Akhila Rasamrut. There are 12 rasas, either primary rasa or secondary rasa. Any ras, Krishna is ready to respond to any rasa you want to deal with Krishna. That is Krishna's position.
Okay. Okay, so now this is the next part of this introduction, and that is the Grantha Vibhag. So just like any ocean, so this is also ocean. Ocean is divided into 4 parts, and that is east, south, west, north. Go ahead. So this is the overview of this 4 parts. Go ahead. Okay, so it begins with Purva Vibhag, Eastern division. So the Purva Vibhag is Bhagavat Bhakti Bheda. That is the main subject matter. That is types of devotional service. Bhagavat Bhakti Bheda. That is from chapters 1 to 19. There's a Purva Vibhag. Then the next is Dakshin Vibhag. Samanya Bhagavat Bhakti Rasa. That is from chapters 20 to 34. And then there's Paschim Vibhag. That is the Mukhya Bhakti Ras from chapters 35 to 44. And then there's Uttar Vibhag, Gauna Bhakti Ras from chapters 45 to 51. So this is the division of the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, the ocean. The ocean is divided into these 4 parts. And within each part, there are different waves or lahari. So as far as we are concerned, here in the Bhakti Shastri course, we are only dealing with the Purva Vibhag from chapters 1 to 19, fortunately. If you want more, we can. Okay, go ahead. So now, okay, this is from Prabhupada's book. So then he talks, now within that eastern division, there are 4 waves. Okay, read.
Overview of Purva Vibhag. In the first part, there are 4 waves. The first being a general description of devotional service. The second concerns the regulatory principle for the executing devotional service. And the third wave, devotional service in ecstasy. In the fourth is the ultimate goal, love of God.
Next. Right. So the main subject matter of the eastern part is Bhagavad Bhakti Bheda, and there are 4 laharis or 4 waves. So the first one is Samanya Bhakti, which is basically the introduction in chapter 1. There's a general description of Bhakti. And then the second wave, which is the biggest one, is the Sadhana Bhakti, which is devotional service and practice, which is from chapters 2 to 16. And the third wave is Bhava Bhakti, that is chapter 17 and 18. And the fourth wave is Prema Bhakti, that is chapter 19. So in this way, this eastern division is divided into these 4 waves. Clear? Okay, go ahead. Okay, so now comes the most important part of the introduction, and that is definition of pure devotional service. Of course, many of us are familiar with the verse. Let's recite. Anya bilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulyena krishnano shilanam bhakti ruttama. Translation, read.
When first-class devotional service developed, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by monastic philosophy, and fruitive. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires.
So this verse is the foundational verse of the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So therefore it is called as the Paribhasha Sutra. Paribhasha Sutra of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So the Paribhasha Sutra is, there are certain characteristics of the Paribhasha Sutra that are given. So one thing is it should come in the beginning of the literature. The second thing is it is something which is not repeated in the literature. The third thing is usually a short verse or aphorism or something like that. And the Paribhasha Sutra is the main theme of the entire book. And whatever follows after the Paribhasha Sutra should be made to align with the Paribhasha Sutra, even if it goes against the Paribhasha Sutra. Okay. So these characteristics of the Paribhasha Sutra have been described by Jiva Goswami in his description of the Paribhasha Sutra of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the Paribhasha Sutra of the Srimad Bhagavatam? Yes, Etesham Shakalapam Sa Krishnasta Bhagwan Swayamentrari Vyakyam Lokamrida. So that is the Paribhasha Sutra of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so similarly, this is the Paribhasha Sutra of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And so therefore, the entire Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is based upon this verse, essentially. And so therefore, understanding this verse is very important and very foundational to our devotional practices. And so if we understand this verse properly, and then of course, try to apply it within our own lives, then that will be definitely very helpful in our practice of devotional service. And so we will get into an elaborate discussion on this verse tomorrow. Okay.
As you told, Paribhasha Sutra should be in the beginning of the, but we see in Bhagavad Gita, Paribhasha Sutra is Sarvadharman Parityaja, it's in the end of Bhagavad Gita.
Well, as far as Bhagavad Gita, at least I have not read anywhere that the Paribhasha Sutra is Sarvadharman Parityaja. Yes, it's got Charam Shlok. But what is the Paribhasha Sutra of the Bhagavad Gita? I don't think so any Acharya has mentioned. But Srimad Bhagavatam, Jiva Goswami very clearly mentions the Paribhasha Sutra is that verse. Okay, so we'll continue our discussions tomorrow. Thank you very much. So please, okay, by the way, tomorrow is fasting till noon. So what timing? Tomorrow is Advaita Acharya's appearance day. So Prashad will be at 12:30?
It's 12:30. So we just wanted to check. First option is from 9:30 to 12:30. If everyone is ready. Are you free with 9:30?
I'm okay.
Bhagavatam will end.
First is 9:30 to 12:30. And another is like 1:30 or 2 to 3 hours then. Which option? First option, how many of you are ready?
What are the two options? First tell what are the two
options. First is 9:30 to 12:30. And second is 1:30 to 4:30.
Oh, 1:30 to 4:30 is not all a good option. Post Prashad. Oh.
That too fasting Prasadam.
Fasting, feasting, sleeping.
Bhagavatam will end by 10. Bhagavatam definitely does not end by 9. Because tomorrow festival it will
end. My practical suggestion is you can keep it from 10 to 12:30.
Fine. Is everybody fine with 10 to 12:30?
Any objections?
12:30.
12:30 is full break. Okay, middle maybe we won't have also. Yeah. So okay, 10 to 12:30. All right. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.